Hey boaters, Keith McGowan here. I am the Outboard Dad, here to help you have a better boating experience. Today we're going to compare side by side. We've been talking about this 4-stroke, we've been talking about 2-strokes, got a lot of opinions out there on what you like, what you don't like. Hear some guys say throw out all those 4-strokes and just run your 2-stroke, but I figured here we can do a really good comparison of two motors. Now I have to wait. One of the reasons I thought of this is because I didn't have a key for this motor that I picked up, 2006. Take a guess at what I picked it up for. I know guys said, well, it depends on what you picked it up for. I'm not going to say until I get some comments out there what you think I should have paid for it. So as you know, there is a crack in the bullet on the lower unit. Power tilt and trim does work and is very clean. The motor itself is very clean. Let me show you a comparison between these two motors. So when we take a look at this 4-stroke, it is very clean, other than the fact it has milky oil. So other than that, underneath the cover here is really nice. I don't see any crazy corrosion. I did take this side cover off here so I could get access to some of the controls, but it is really in good condition. Otherwise, it doesn't have a lot of corrosion. Power tilt and trim is good. There is no water in the oil. Now let's take a look at this 2-stroke. Now this 2-stroke, keep in mind, is 10 years older as well. Both are a little sun damaged, right? So we're going to get into this 2-stroke and do an evaluation on it as well. But it is a little more rough. It has had some repairs done here and there. Not too bad on this side, but when you come over here and we take a look, right, you can see some, looks like maybe we had some leaks here or maybe moisture seeping out. I do see some over here too, some coagulation going on. So we want to be real careful on this. Looks like this might have been overheated at one point. So we're probably going to get into thermostats up here and also water pump and see what the deal is. Now the guy said he ran this. This was one that I took in trade and he could never get it to run right. Of course, he didn't take it to any outboard mechanics either. So let's do a comparison. Let me know what your thoughts are comparing these two. Now we've already gone through some things on this. We put the cover back on. If you remember, this cover was off and both of those camshafts had a little bit of rust on them. I sprayed it all up. Remember, this too was locked up when I got it. So keep that in mind, locked up. It did have a stainless steel prop in it that was mint. The guy wanted extra money for that, but he didn't advertise that it was locked up, just that it had milky oil. So I'm assuming, but when I got there, that I'm going to be able to find out why we have milky oil. Is it a head gasket? Is it a leak in the head or in the block? How is that water getting into the oil? I have some comments from some guys saying that it's the head, that the aluminum on these motors, he doesn't care what brand it is. The aluminum is not the same as the older aluminums on the older motors, and they just corrode faster. I want to do some tests first, leak down tests, guys suggested, some stuff like that, and we're going to see what we can find out. But first we're going to do a quick evaluation on this 70-horse Evinrude. Now this is a 1996 motor, this is a 2006 motor. So I'd be curious to see what is the cost of repair on this one as opposed to rebuilding maybe. Does this need to be? We're going to have to tear it down to find out. And you guys know I'm all into taking stuff apart and seeing what happened. So let me know your opinion. In the meantime, we're going to start comparing and doing tests. I'm going to do this one first now. We kind of jump over here because this I'm waiting for the key for. When I get the key, then we'll start with compression test on this one, get some oil in it, and turn it over. So let's do some tests. I always start with the compression test. So let's see what it looks like. I've got my gauge hooked up on the bottom cylinder. Let's see what we get. 120 on the nose, and I'm looking here, all three of my spark plugs are sparking. Doesn't mean they're putting out good spark, but they are sparking, so at least I'm not at no spark with one of those cylinders. So let's see what we got on the second cylinder. That one's like 122, I would say. So a good start. We could always scope the cylinders too, see what it looks like inside. You never know what could be in there, but if we got good compression, we're going to assume it's okay for now, or at least okay enough to try and get it running. We don't know what the difficulty was that the gentleman had with this. So top cylinder. That one we got about 125 on, almost 130, so maybe like 127. So that one I got a little more compression out of, but we're still within that 10%. So that's a good start. Let's take a look at this power tilt and trim and see what it looks like. I'm pretty sure this was a freshwater motor. So let's take a look and see what the power tilt and trim looks like. See what the motor looks like on it. Sometimes they get roached out. So it works, number one. And if we look inside here, motor looks good, no corrosion at all. This was a freshwater motor. I do see no damage around on my cylinders here. And it looks pretty clean. I mean, it's dirty, but it looks not corroded. Even my sending unit works. A lot of times, especially in salt water, those get corroded up. Now, I do see some corrosion around here, but that's nothing out of the ordinary. Some corrosion here too. You can see there's pretty much nothing left of this nut, or just a little bit left of this nut here. Let me get that in the picture. So as you can see, it does have some corrosion here, but not corroded all the way through that it's not, functioning. So power tilt and trim looks good. So at the very least, we could sell parts off of this motor. But let's see what the value is, or the cost is, to get it running. Seems to me like the next thing we have to do is get some fuel in it and fire it up. And we'll do that in the next episode and see what we can do. Let me know your thoughts as a comparison. Now, this is only a 70 horse compared to 150 horse, so it's not an exact comparison. I do have down here a Yamaha OX66 250, two-stroke that has one bad cylinder, or I'm told. I didn't do a compression check because I picked it up for, I forget what I paid for it, but I picked it up cheap enough that I know I could get money back in parts if I needed to. So please like, subscribe, send me any comments that you have, and will let me know what you think of this comparison, and what are your opinions on two-stroke versus four-stroke for rebuildability. Is that a word? So whether or not I want to rebuild this. So next we're going to go through, hopefully I'll get the key for this in the next day or so that I ordered. I did take a number off the key switch. So there was a number stamped on the key switch, and I was able to Google that and get on for Parts VU. My buddy Aaron Hilligus uses them for his site, Boater's Program. You can certainly get on his. He's actually doing a webinar right now, or a podcast right now, where you can ask questions. He's got a great school community as well that I'm a part of, and I get a lot of really good information from Aaron. He also has a YouTube channel called Born Again Boating. So that's a great resource, and that's where I looked up the parts for what he uses, which is Parts VU, and was able to order a key based on the number here. We're going to find out if the key works. We're going to hook it up, and we're going to crank this motor over and do some compression tech. Now, I did get it moving after lubering up, but we're going to see if it really cranks or not. Moving it with a bar is a whole lot different than cranking it with that starter motor. So hopefully it's lubed up enough that it will get moving. In the meantime, please like, subscribe, send me any comments that you have, and let me know your opinions. We'll talk to you soon.